I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your cattle market summary for the week ending November 23rd, Thanksgiving week. And I tell you what, for a holiday week, quite a bit of activity took place, and most all of it bullish, especially right during the holiday when everything was pretty much on hold. And you know, we had a very bullish cattle on feed report that came out on Wednesday afternoon. Just everything went great. We had a great fat cattle trade Wednesday afternoon. Yet on Friday, when the board opened up, we didn't get to see the big limit up move that we all thought we would see. And maybe it was because the handful of guys that will attempt to go long in the cattle futures were all busy with holidays or something. But you know, what would it take to get a big bull rush on your futures market? It's hard saying. You know, you look at the cattle on feed report that come out on Wednesday, your November 1st inventories, the average of the analyst's guess was 104.3% of the same time a year ago. The actual come in more than one full percentage point lower than that. That's enough to be bullish. Your October placements, which are the biggest placements that we see all year long, were sharply lighter than what expectations were at 101%, and they came in at just under 94%. That is big time bullish. Should have sent your out front live cattle futures going up the limit on Friday, yet we just saw some just moderate gains. Your marketings, which is never much of a newsmaker, and they were expecting them to be big just the way that the days fell. 104.2% were the expectations and come out 104.5. That's enough to be considered bullish on the marketings, which are usually just kind of a yawner. But still, you know, what did we see? Up 70 cents in your December live cattle, not about the same with that on your nearby out fronts. And you know, it's just frustrating. We can't ever get anything. Your cattle traders, your fund managers, your speculators, guys that are willing to go long the cattle market are not impressed by fundamentals at all. They just look at technical charts. You know, the guys, you know, they have fund buying and speculating in the grain markets too. But anytime you see any fundamental news in the grain markets, whether it's weather, whether it's a USDA report or whatever, boy, the futures just turns right on a dime and just responds immediately to it. But we don't see it in the cattle anymore. You know, the cattle and feed report didn't help it on Friday. Maybe it will go up here early this week, but you know, it sure wasn't impressed on Friday. But you look at some of these other things. The $3 higher cash fat cattle market we had, that didn't impress the board. The outstanding beef demand that we have, both domestically and for export, doesn't impress anybody. We have one of our best customers thinking about eliminating some trade barriers, namely your Japanese 30-month-old exemption, and talking about getting rid of that 30-month-old rule. That should be very bullish. Not interested in that. Your beef cow slaughter, which is huge and way over 20% higher than the 3-year average, which should be bullish down the road for your cattle. No, they're not interested in that. Some catastrophic diseases kind of flirting with our biggest protein competitors all around the globe. That doesn't seem to help your cattle market at all. Just nothing. I don't know what it would take for your cattle market to go up the limit. I would love to see it. Maybe it'll happen here this Monday. Maybe it just being during the holiday. But I doubt it. You know, those guys always have their cell phones handy, even when they're at their mother-in-law's eating turkey. They could send in an order, or they could take care of business, and just nothing impresses it anymore. But you look at the board, December live cattle futures, Monday was up 80 for no reason at all, up more than what we saw on the from Friday's news after your big bullish cattle on feed report. Tuesday was down 45 cents. Wednesday up 70 for no apparent reason. Thursday, of course, was Thanksgiving. Then Friday, after that huge fat cattle trade, the big time bullish cattle on feed report up 70 cents. Ending the week at 117.10. That was $1.75 higher for the week. February was up $1.20, ending at 120.92. January feeder cattle, Monday was up 75 cents, Tuesday down 40. Wednesday up $1.75, closed on Thursday. Friday up 75 cents. And your January feeder cattle contracts ended the week at 149.37, up 154 for the week. March was up $1.95 for the week at 145.92. Your fat cattle trade, another just impressive week. After a couple of weeks ago, we were really down in the doldrums. We didn't think we had any leverage left, and all of a sudden, really good. Through Thanksgiving, 111,100 head had been sold, negotiated cash in your 5-area feeding region. On Wednesday, 103,500. So, and then there was some more cleanup trade on Friday. So when we get the results of last week here on Monday, that'll be a lot of news there, and I think it'll be a big traded week. But your live sales range from 114 all the way to 117, and at the end of the week, that 117 was prevalent in most areas. That would be a full $3 higher. The bad thing is your weighted averages. There was just too many cattle that sold off the market. Your steer weighted average through Thanksgiving was at 115.37, and your heifers, we're continuing to see the heifer weighted averages well better than your steers because of the heavyweight discounts on the steers that are too big. But heifer weighted average live was 115.90. Your dress trade from 180 to 185 at the end of the week with your full advance, that was $7 higher. That's big time bullish. Your steer weighted average though was 181.49. You know, where do we get that from? $185 market? Just too many sales in the northern plains off the market early in the week. We just have seen that pretty much all summer, all fall, and now into the winter as we're starting to get into our winter months. But your heifer weighted average was about 50 cents higher than your steers at just under 182. But still, those top prices of 117 live and 185 dress were available on Friday. Late in the week, we saw some more of that. So that's a positive indicator. Box beef cutout values seem to have moderate. You know, we saw a little bit of charge, and then it petered out early, and then it's been going back down the last couple of weeks. Well, now we've come through the end of your Thanksgiving week, and didn't lose any more ground. It was pretty much steady with your average weekly trade as it was the week before. But choice cuts average trade for the week was $213.76, down just 10 cents, and select average trade $198.44, up 10 cents. So didn't really see anything. $15.32 spread and 500 loads, which isn't bad with a holiday right in the middle of the week there. Your slaughter, not as good as we'd hope, but you know, it's hard to gauge on a holiday week. But 570,000, that was 5,000 less than the same week a year ago. But now we're expecting huge kills here this week and next week, with those being early enough to still respond to some Christmas and New Year's demand. But they'll really have those chain speeds cranked up here for the next 2 weeks, and that should give the market a boost too. But you know, it's just getting anybody besides, you know, we're just preaching to the choir here with all this bullish fundamentals. You know, all the cattle guys, yeah, they all want it to go up, but when everybody is hedging, you got all this hedging pressure, and you've got these guys. They know exactly what the industry is going to do. They know there's going to be tons of hedging pressure, and they know when a lot of cattle are moving, there's going to be even more of it. So they can gauge that, and they basically just stare at charts and don't even have to look at the news or listen to anything that's going on about the cattle market, because you know, it doesn't respond to it. But you look at your feeder cattle market, your real-time index on Cattle Market Central ended the week at 143.76. That was down 75 cents for the week, but just hardly any sales at all going on. everything, had some early week sales, and we did see a little bit of recovery in the market early week, responding to that positive fat cattle trade we had the week before. So your Monday sales were pretty good, higher in some cases, even on calves, and selling pretty good by the time we got through Monday. Tuesday, things were already slowing down again. About the only news that we really saw was from your specials at Green City Livestock Market, Green City, Missouri, and Burwell Livestock Market up in Nebraska. And they always have specials on Thanksgiving holiday week and 4th of July holiday week. And it's always kind of a big splash. And of course, they were barn burners and hard to gauge the market from. It's just whatever one farmer feeder can make another one give. And they've got the guys there that a lot of those calves that they sell, that they buy this time of year, they'll sell those back, later on in the year, and that's where they come to buy them, and they're bidding against each other and then selling the same cattle against each other at the next special. But they did have some impressive quotes there. You look at, I talked about Green City last week before we went on the holiday break, but Burwell, Nebraska had their yearling special on Friday. 128 Charolais Cross. Now, they did tell me that they were green and gant and thin. Now, just thinking about Nebraska, I wonder about how green, gant, and thin they can be, but I assume that the condition was outstanding, and long-tail yearlings. 128 head of Charolais Cross steers weighed 972 and 163.10, and then another big string of black baldy thin green gant yearlings, 99 head of them, weighed 957 at 163.60. Wow, that's pretty impressive there. But looking at a market that's more meat and potatoes kind of a market that you can really gauge by, Fort Scott, Kansas had a sale on Saturday. Good for them. They're used to having their every week holidays, their weekends run, so it wasn't a big deal for them to have a sale on Saturday. But check out a quote there, which is something you can sink your teeth into. 59 head of steers weighed 874 in Fort Scott, Kansas, bring 155 and a quarter, and that was sure impressive. Don't forget this week, your Western Video Market's having a big sale in Reno, Nevada on Wednesday the 28th, and there'll be some awfully good cattle out there, mostly from the western half of the United States, and a lot of replacement kind of heifers, and could go either way on that sale, but a lot of nice consignments, and they haven't had a big sale like that for a while. So be sure and look for that on Western Video Market's website, or you can watch bid and view there on DV Auction on Wednesday the 28th. But that's a look at your markets from a home DV auction office here in Canyon, Texas. We'll talk to you next week.